Good evening, all our friends. Today's still Friday. This afternoon, I wanted to talk about volcanoes. On the calendar, we're going to be doing a volcano experiment, and I also have pictures of volcanoes, and I'm going to talk about the types of volcanoes, volcanoes in the United States, and the parts of a volcano. And then I have a short craft that you can do at home. I have a few worksheets going home that you're going to label the volcano. You're going to color the volcano and do the art activity if you'd like to as well. But before I get into the lesson, I wanted to do the good evening song. So get your fingers ready. Good evening, good evening, good evening, all our friends. I love you, I miss you, please sit down, let's begin. Good evening, good evening, good evening, all our friends. I love you, I miss you, please sit down, let's begin. Great, 2 times is always good. Okay, so volcanoes. Volcanoes are a type of landform, usually a mountain, that opens downward into a pool of magma, which is a very hot substance that's at the core of our Earth. The United States has the most volcanoes in the world. It has 169 volcanoes. Most of them are considered active volcanoes, which means they could erupt if the pressure was strong enough or there was a massive earthquake and it caused friction and pressure to build up. And most of the volcanoes in the United States are located in Alaska, where there's usually an eruption once a year on average. And there's also volcanoes in Washington State, which is on the west coast above us, and parts of Hawaii too. So the 3 most active volcanoes, according to scientists, are the Kilauea, Hawaii volcano that just erupted in 2015. And then there's also Mount St. Helens, which is located in Washington. That erupted in the 80s. It hasn't erupted since, but it's considered active and dangerous because there's a lot of people that live around that area that could be affected. And the 3rd most dangerous is Mount Rainier, which is also in Washington. So I have a picture of Mount St. Helens right there. And this is a picture of the volcano that erupted in Hawaii. So you see how it's got the magma from the core and it's traveled up and it's erupted into lava. There. Okay, so when a volcano erupts, the gases and magma push up the vent of the volcano. This is the vent of the volcano. There. And it goes to the opening of the volcano, which is the crater. Okay? So this is the vent, and this is the crater, the opening, and down here is the magma. That's at the center of the Earth. So volcano is really just an opening, a mountain that reaches all the way to the magma at the center of the Earth. So the magma, when a volcano erupts, gets pushed up the vent of the volcano, and it reaches the opening of the volcano, which is known as the crater. And then it pushes out and erupts and explodes. And what happens is ash cloud forms that's burned up lava and rock. And then the lava flows down the mountain, down the landform. And it's really hot and it moves down and can burn up anything it touches. So that's a volcano. These are the layers of the Earth. We have the outer crust. We have the mantle, which is underneath the crust. We have the outer core and the inner core. And then that's, again, Mount St. Helens. That's in Washington. And that's the volcano in Hawaii that erupted in 2015. And these are the parts of the volcano. So basically, when a volcano erupts, the gases and the magma from the center of the Earth get pushed up the vent of the volcano, and it explodes and erupts at the top of the volcano, which is called the crater. And then the magma, when it reaches the surface of the earth, it starts to cool down and it's called lava. So it's no longer called magma. When it reaches the surface of the earth's crust, it's called lava, and it will flow down. So, and then there's the ash cloud again, which is the lava that's cooled down and bits of rock that have burned up and caused ash. So those are the 5 parts of the volcano: the vent, the crater, which is the opening, the magma, which is at the base of the volcano, at the center of the earth that travels up, the lava, and then the ash cloud. Okay, so since those are the parts of the volcano, and I've talked about volcanoes in the United States, I wanted to do a volcano experiment. So I have this little plastic volcano mold, and I have baking soda here, and I also have vinegar. I colored my vinegar red with food coloring because lava is really bright red because it's so hot. It's burning red. Okay, so I'm going to take a scoop of my baking soda. I'm going to put it into my volcano crater. And then I'm going to very carefully pour the vinegar. Okay, so baking soda is the base. It is sodium bicarbonate, which is a powder, and vinegar is a very diluted form of acetic acid. So the acid and the bicarbonate soda, that when they mix together, it creates water and also a gas called carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide is what makes the bubbles and the eruption. So we're going to see the reaction. Are you ready? Look at that lava flow. Great. Okay, I'll clean this up later, but you can do a little experiment to see how the sodium bicarbonate and the acetic acid and the vinegar mix together and create the water and then the gas that erupts. It's a really fun experiment. Okay, now that that's over, I wanted to show you an art activity that you can do at home. So one of the worksheets I'm going to be sending home is this coloring volcano worksheet. It says erupting volcano. So you can color this volcano with crayons, and I also have tissue paper that I'm going to cut and tape or glue onto my volcano to look like lava flowing out. So if you want to do this, you can. If you have tissue paper, you can use tissue paper. Remember, volcanoes are just landforms. Some of them are really tall mountains that have an opening, the crater at the top. Some of them aren't as tall. So I'm just going to color it like I would color an angry mountain. An erupting angry mountain. So I'm going to color it with browns for the dirt. Alright, then I'm going to color the green grass down at the base of my mountain. If you want to make those grass, maybe it's lava, you can do that. Whatever colors you have, whatever you want to do to color your erupting volcano. Now, volcanoes go through phases where they might not be active and they're considered dormant, which means that they haven't erupted in a long time. They're basically like sleeping. and their risk of eruption is not very high. And then there's active volcanoes that have, you know, a pressure system, and it might be building. And remember, the United States has over 160 volcanoes, and most of them are active. That doesn't mean that they're going to erupt per se, but it does mean that, you know, it could happen, and we have to be prepared for that. And sometimes volcanoes erupt because the pressure is too builds up underneath the surface, or there's an earthquake and that causes the pressure to build up, and there's nowhere for that pressure to go. So what it does is it comes up the volcano and out, and it erupts that way. Okay, I'm going to color my magma, my lava. Remember, it's outside of the volcano's surface at the crater, so it's called lava. Red, I'm going to color that red. And then I'm going to do my ash cloud gray, but I don't have gray, so I'm going to do really lightly with my black. Because I'm going to be putting my tissue paper on top to make it look like lava that's flowing out of the volcano. Okay, I'm also going to trace the writing, the erupting volcano writing, with orange so that I can practice my writing. I suggest you do that too. I am sending home another worksheet where you're going to write volcano, you're going to trace it and then write it on your own. And there's another volcano for you to color. But this one is just a picture of the volcano that you can color and add whatever you want to. Okay, so I'm done with my crayons. Thank you, crayons. Now, I don't have a glue stick, but I have this glue here. I don't need very much. I'm going to put some at the crater's edge and kind of going down. Okay. Now I'm going to cut my tissue paper. Great. Okay, so I'm going to put some here. Put some there. Put some here and there. Okay, so it looks like lava spewing out of my angry, erupting volcano. All right, super simple, right? Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed learning about volcanoes and doing the experiment with me with the baking soda and the vinegar, and also doing the art activity with me with our angry volcano. So for the worksheets at home, you're going to be having this erupting volcano ditto that you can color and add tissue paper if you'd like to. There's also a labeling activity where you're going to label the parts of the volcano. Remember, there's 5 parts of the volcano. The vent, which is in the middle of the volcano. So there's the vent, there's the magma, the lava when it's at the top of the mountain, the opening of the volcano is called the crater, and the ash cloud, okay? So you're gonna label the parts. I think they're already written, so you just cut them out and put them where they go, or you can write them on the line as well if you wanna practice writing. All right, I hope you enjoyed the activity. I miss you. Bye, friends.